I told you. I'm a walking boxing encyclopedia. Yeah, man. Yeah, you see something. This is some special shit right here. Excuse my house. If you get some shots of my dirty house, it ain't dirty. I got kids in here. So, I'm telling you, look. All these fights right here. Remember Mike Tyson? And he had what's his guy? Bill Clayton and Customato, and all these guys had, you know, he would sit in a room with film and he would watch. I wish I had light in here. I don't have light in here though. But in all these boxes, there's VHS tapes. Like, I don't think you guys understand. Like, I'm not a regular boxing, like, I'm not a casual dude. I want to say something else. Man, I want to say something. Fuck it. I'm not one of these petty ass. Hold on. I don't know. Let's say Matthew Saad Muhammad versus Dwight Braxton. Before he changed his name to Kwawi. The Eddie Gregory. I mean, I'm just pulling that up out of nothing. What is this? Here, hold on. Maybe you can. Maybe you don't. You might not be able to see that. Yeah, I probably need to. So that's that's Marvin Gaye in concert, but beneath the Marvin Gaye in concert, that is Leonard versus Hearns. My dad, he recorded that live. What is this? Starlin versus Hunnigan, Breland versus Lee. They were trying to build that Breland-Starlin fight, and that's what happened. That was the fight before they fought. I mean, this is small. Okay, people? Yeah, you guys probably see my fucked up ass house right now. I'm just vibing. I wish I can. But look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, that's not 7. That's probably 7. Hold on. Yeah. 8, 9. There's a bunch of. There's some DVDs in there. That's movies. 9. There's a boxing glove. What do you know? A boxing fan with a boxing glove. There's some fights in here too. This thing right here. There. I don't know. There could be anywhere from. I don't know how many fights is in here. Oh, the big one's down. There's a big one down here. You guys can't see it because it's dark. I apologize. But, you know, I think people think when you get on YouTube and you start talking about boxing, and I didn't have any amateur fights or pro fights or nothing like that, but I did a lot of sparring. I was pretty much a human sparring bag for a guy that actually made the All-Navy team. So, when it comes to this boxing thing, the sweet science, I want all the smoke. Like, we can debate about a lot of different things in boxing. We can talk about a lot of different things. Like, who you with? You're Ray Robinson? You think Ray Robinson is the greatest? You think Roy Jones is the greatest? Or do you think Sugar Ray Leonard is the greatest? Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, you know, this new generation of fighters versus the other generation of fighters, where, you know, Floyd Mayweather, he got 50 wins, but he got a motherfucker on his record. When he was 49 in his year, he was 49 and 0, and a dude was in his pro debut. I got love for Conor McGregor, but he didn't do the things that a boxer does to climb himself through the ranks. I mean, it was more like a money grab, but they sanctioned it as a real fight. You tell me what they would have did to Sugar Ray Leonard if he was 49 and 0 and he would have went against a dude in his pro debut. You tell me what would have happened to Sugar Ray Leonard, how they would have treated him. And this was back in the 80s and the 90s. And it was getting on him already because he kept retiring and coming back. Just think of what... And there was no UFC back then. Let's just put all of it into perspective. Where Hagler had to weigh in the day of the fight. And you got guys now that don't have to weigh in the day of the fight. You know, they can come in 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds more than the weight that they're supposed to be, that they signed to fight at. Like, and I don't want to, don't make it seem like, oh, you just an old school dude talking, you know, and it's time for the new, and I get that. I really believe that it's always a time for progress, but where I be wanting you folks to understand is that boxing didn't start when HBO put out 24/7, and that's when a lot of y'all became fans. Y'all saw Floyd Mayweather, and he's great. You saw Manny Pacquiao, and he's great. And for years, y'all debated Pacquiao and Mayweather, but you forgot Roy Jones. At one time, he was in Mayweather's era, and wasn't nobody talking about Mayweather because it was all Roy Jones. Like, I can keep. You want me to keep going? Huh? I could stop now. You want to talk about the greatness of Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield, but then you want to go back to somebody like Larry Holmes? Like, who are we talking about now? Like, how come ain't nobody? Is the camera is the camera weird to you? Like, what are we doing? You know. I mean, and I even heard somebody say, like, the lightweights. What was the lightweights say? Teofimo Lopez, and Devin Haney, and Ryan Garcia. And who was the other guy? There was another guy. And they were saying, like, they're the new Fabulous Four. Like the Ryan Garcia guy, I don't even know what's going on with this guy. He's already dropped out. So, and then I'm not even gonna go into the Tank thing. And Devin Haney, he looks very good. They all look good. But truly, can any of them go 15 rounds with Roberto Duran? Name one of the four of them. Let's say name one of the from 2000 to today. And let's just take Loma Chico out of it, because I think he can. But out of all these fighters of the last 21 years, who going 15 rounds with Roberto Duran? Name one. Half of them can barely do 12. We talk about 15 total. Man, look, did you see the brawl from Montreal? Look. I'm not even gonna mention the Valentine's Day massacre. Like, come on, man. Like, I am a walking boxing encyclopedia. Like, if I really wanted to, and I got love for Showbiz, the adult. And it's a lot. Well, really showbiz is the only one that I really watch, because everybody else seem like they just affiliated with somebody, and a lot of them are good. But I'm not in for the bullshit when it comes to boxing, man. I'm really not. Let's all have a discussion, and I'm not with the tireless debates or the tiresome debates, because a lot of times it gets tiresome. You know what I'm saying? Like, because mainly from a lot of folks that don't really know in depth what it takes to be a fighter. And I'm not talking about, like, I'm not getting on the thing that, like, how Floyd Mayweather be like, well, unless you did what he did, you can't never do it. You know, you can't speak. Man, I'm not with that. That's bullshit. Because there's folks out here that study this game, and some of them physically participated in it, and some of them didn't. So I'm not really tripping on that aspect of it. But what I am tripping on is folks that really understand the sweet science of it. And the reason why boxing is what it is. The reason why, after all these years, I think it's probably the oldest sport in the world. You know, it don't get the endorsement deals and this, that, and the third, but it's still like, look what. I don't think Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, their third fight, did big numbers, but everybody's seen it. Like, it might not add up in the it might not add up in the live, what everybody saw live. It might not be big in pay-per-view numbers, but everybody saw it because it was a great heavyweight championship fight. Wasn't the greatest heavyweight championship fight. I've seen many, many more fights better than that one. And to me, it seemed more of a one-sided, you know, a guy that we're on pins and needles because we know he has a knockout punch, who was taking a beating against a more skilled fighter, and he got in there and he got a good couple of licks in and knocked the skilled fighter down. But after the fight went on, class tells, man. And I got love for Deontay Wilder, a lot of heart, but I mean, shit, that dude probably wouldn't have been an 8-round fighter in the 70s, and that's not a disrespect on him. It's just telling you what boxing is as it is now. Like, it's different now, because we're not fighting 15 and we're not weighing in the day of the fight. and the amateurs ain't what they used to be. Like, there's so many different levels to this, man. But, you know, I don't want people to look at me and think that I'm somebody that don't understand dates and histories and this, that, and the third. I breathe this shit, man. Like, I want boxing. Like, man, look, if football was no more, if basketball was no more, if baseball was no more, I wouldn't even blink an eye. Like, I'm a Warriors fan, I love Steph Curry, but I wouldn't even blink an eye. But if you take boxing away, then it's a problem. And here's another thing that you gotta understand. If you take boxing away, then it's a problem for a lot of other things. Because all of the other sports that I just mentioned, when the big fights happen, all of their best athletes come to boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different. It's levels to this. Just like with me. Like, all them tapes that I showed you, it's levels to this shit. You know, it's people that just get on YouTube and they just talk that shit and they don't know a damn thing about it. Because they started at 24/7. I came out this shit from the damn near womb. So I could make a big boxing podcast. And I just might. I don't know. That depends on y'all. But I just want y'all to see a few things here from a real boxing OG. Like, I'm not a triple OG. I'm a quadruple. Man, I don't even know if you call it quadruple. Like, for real, man. Like, I saw somebody on this, on I guess on YouTube, and he was talking real slow. And every time he named a fighter, he had to name all the accolades, get back into the story, and like he was just dry and boring. And I'm like, God damn, dude, like, he seemed like a PBC guy. Like, you can just tell these PBC and these top ranked dudes, like, man, I get y'all, I get y'all got love for certain fighters, man, but when is it gonna be about boxing? Like, when is it gonna be just about the sport and the progression of the sport without having to pick a side? Because you can say certain things and put a tag on a video and then get in the algorithm and then you get a check from it, and that's all you fucking know. That's all you know. You know, all you know is how to build an algorithm, get yourself in the algorithm so you can get the check. But you bitch at... I'm sorry. I'm just gonna stop.